Okay, so now we'll get into some money assumptions. And again, I just pulled 200,000 because that seems to be the typical range that people are mortgaging for a house, 1,200 square foot bungalow. Typically, you know, again, we're going with two large bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, you know, 1 bath, that kind of thing. So right now the mortgage rate, if you were to get a 2.99, is $945.74. That would be your monthly, obviously, mortgage. On a 5% mortgage, you know, you're looking at over $1,000. The difference between the mortgage per month is $223. That's kind of an interesting number if you think about it, because 1% interest rate really affects the bottom line, or really affects the budget. And when it comes to being able to lock in a rate, really important. And they'll lock it in for 3 months. Some places will lock it in for 6 months. And then there's the case, which kind of does things totally different. They, if you have a lot that you'd like to buy, they would finance your lot as well as your home and lock you into that 2.99 rate right now. So that doesn't happen very often. Now, what I've been encouraging my customers to do is, even if you own the lot, put a mortgage on it to get that rate. Like, you're saving $233. You know, it's crazy. It's just, you know, something that nobody really talks about, and something that you should be thinking about. So, and then you know, when we talk about, you know, our wants are like this, our needs are kind of like this. You know, we'd like to have everything in the home, right? I mean, yeah, everybody would like to have, you know, the Taj Mahal, but, you know, we just can't afford it. So, but from a numbers standpoint, to increase your budget by $10,000 can give you a lot of home. Like, could give you, you know, hardwood floors throughout, you know, if you like hardwood floors, rather than doing a standard, let's say, carpet vinyl. But, and what does it add to your mortgage rate? It adds $47.27 per month. So if you think about it, that's not, you know, I mean, that's kind of a couple of lunches a month that you could sacrifice to get something like that. But so now, or $10,000 could give you another 200 square feet of home. You know, so when you take a look at your budget, you want to think about how long is it for an investment? How long are you going to be there? And, you know, and $10,000 is actually half a garage, not even, you know, so for a garage, you pay $20,000 and you're paying $100 a month. I think, I don't know, to me that sounds like a good investment to me. Now, when it comes to down payments, is anybody familiar with building and down payments and how that works? Does anyone know how much you need down?
Depends. We've heard different things from different people.
Okay. So would you be working with an A bank, or, like, what I mean by that is like a CIBC, a TD?
They all told us that we couldn't do it with modular.
Oh, really?
We had actually really bad luck in North Bay.
Oh, no. Okay, so who did you go see, if you don't mind my asking?
There's a Scotia in northern Quebec that'll do it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
And then there's a couple independent brokers that I have no idea how they do it.
Okay, and that's the problem that, you know, that I hear. It's not the first time, and really, it's, you know, the old adage, you know, it's who you know. Where I was talking to Helen about this earlier. It's just that, you know, Helen's situation, she's got this beautiful waterfront home, like, place. She wants to demolish it and rebuild. But now all of this, it's so stringent. You know, you've got the water course, you've got the Mattawa Conservation Authority, you've got all these people that are, you know, trying to make your life difficult. And meanwhile, she's not really changing anything. She's not moving. She's building on the existing foundation. So why can't it be grandfathered in? So, you know, you are going to end up having, you know, these problems. But the problem is that the people at the banks, they if they don't know, it's so much easier to do a resale. You know, it's not in your best interest, maybe, you know. So that's why you have to know who can do it. You know, like Scotiabank, we have worked with Scotiabank, I think twice or 3 times this year, maybe. So twice or 3 times. So they do it. You just have to know who to go to. That's the problem. And nobody's that helpful, I will say. So there's other banks that will do the mortgages and and it would be a lot easier, you know, and less stressful, and probably pointing you in the right direction, you know, when it comes to investing. But again, it's a piece of paper, right? The faster they can get it off their desk, you know, so therefore you're going to have a little bit of pushback from it. But typically how it works is the minimum down payment is 5%. So if we take that $200,000 mortgage, that's a $10,000 deposit. Now, that deposit can come from anywhere. It can be cash, it can be GIC, it can be your land. So all of that acts as your deposit for your home. Now, 5% is the same as buying resale. Resale, you require 5% as well, whether that's equity coming out of your home or not. You know, so this is where you can decide how you'd like to, how high you want your mortgage to be. And yeah, this is another interesting statistic. You know, we talk about equity, and I'm a big believer in having cash flow assets, right? And whether it's a rental property or whatever, like, you know, it's nice to have some income coming in. You never know, you know, for a rainy day. But for new homes, you know, they require, they're going to have 80% equity, or else they will not finance you. So essentially what happens is that when you go in and you get your appraisal, it has to appraise at 80%. But what happens is now all of a sudden you've got instant equity in your home. And out of the 120 homes that we've built, there's not one appraisal that's been less than that. So that's another interesting thing that I thought about last night that I threw into the slide here, is that all of a sudden once you're finished the completion of your home, you'll have $40,000 in equity if we look at just that 20%. Now you could have more. You know, I don't know. I'm just using that example. So what you could do is you could borrow against that equity up to 95%. So now all of a sudden, if you wanted to go out and build a cash flow asset, you know, apartment building or whatever, another house to rent, or want to build a semi instead of a single and rent out the other side, now all of a sudden you have $15,000 deposit. So anyway, it's just another way of investing, you know, your money. So now when we talk about budgets, you know, this is kind of the heart and soul of really modular construction. And that is because we can control 80% of the cost, you know, of the home. But there's 20% that we can't control, which is obviously in the ground. So in your package or in your folders, I've written down, or actually Brooke came up with this list, and I think it's a great little tool. And basically we talk about the fixed cost. So we know what the house is going to cost. We know what the delivery is going to cost. We know what the set and stitch is going to be, because that's what we do here for you. We know what the permits are going to be. We actually put that in your budget for you. And we know what the lot is. Whether you've purchased it or whether you're financing it, we know all those numbers. Or we should, if you have an offer in on it and you've purchased it. So the things that we don't know, you know, excavation. We don't know about backfill. We know septic and well. We know how much it is, you know, how to budget for it. So, but they are variable costs depending on, again, where you are. If you're in soupy clay, count on it being more. But that doesn't happen very often. Maybe I've had 2 or 3 jobs. So finishing costs. So now all of a sudden, you know, we talked about equity. You know, how do you build equity in your house? So, because most of you have been here before, you know that we have 2 different packages. We have a watertight package and we have a turnkey package. So it all depends on how inconvenienced you want to be, or who you know that can do some of the work for you. So we would have, you know, if you have a friend who's an electrician, a plumber, you know, everything in the house is already pre-plumbed and pre-wired. It just has to be connected in. So you could actually get those done for a lot less than what a master electrician or plumber would charge you. So look out to see who you know, and typically those jobs only take about a day or a day and a half. So if you don't live in town, or if you're not from North Bay and you have some friends down south who'd able to help you in the trades, you know, I'm sure, you know, I would encourage you to bring them up and have them finish that portion of the home. So then all that extra cost that we will already budget into your project will be money in your pocket. And then landscaping, of course, you know, those are costs that we always have to factor in, you know, legal fees. So when you come in and you're ready to start building your home, we go through the budget and we basically say, okay, this is what we need for this, this, and this to get to our final number, if it's whatever that number is, you know, 150, 200,000, not sure. Depends on what you're looking for. HST, there is tax on your home, like everything else, but we do have the 60% back, cash back. Now, if you do a turnkey, you know, we just described a little bit of the watertight package, a turnkey package, we automatically deduct the 60% rebate for you. So that's kind of a little bit of a savings as well. So you can kind of look at it in two different ways. You can say, okay, well, on a $200,000 home, my rebate's going to be about $20,000. So you can actually take that $20,000 if you decide to do a watertight package, and you can just bring down your mortgage, or you can use that $20,000 to buy, I don't know, window treatments, you know, furniture. I'm not sure, but so that $20,000 is coming back to you. So you're going to mortgage a little bit higher, but why not at 2.99? Or take that $20,000 and invest in something, you know, that's going to give you more money, you know, the cash flow. So, and then of course with the turnkey, if you're tight on budget, you know, if you're really, really tight and you need that $20,000 to come off the bottom line, then that might be an option for you. You're not going to get as much of a home, but it's going to be less costly.